Club Glove is arguably the best known, most well-respected name when it comes to golf travel bags. It's kind of like Bushnell with rangefinders. It's just like, that's kind of the de facto choice. If you think of a rangefinder, think of a high quality rangefinder, Bushnell is probably the first place you go. If you travel a lot, Club Glove also probably the first place you go. The question is now that there are so many other brands out there, many with very good products for quite a bit less money, is it still worth buying a Club Glove bag? Today, I'm going to do a full review of the current Club Glove travel lineup. I'm going to compare it to some of the other travel bags that are out there. And we're also going to talk about a couple other Club Glove products like their suitcase, like their backpack that make out their full kind of travel system to see if it's worth investing in the system as a whole. So whether you are in the market for a new travel bag or a full suite of golf travel gear, today's video is for you. Let's go. So the last Club Glove bag that I bought at the time, it was called the Club Glove Burst Proof. I bought it in 2014. And between 2014 and like the end of 2021, that was the golf travel bag I used. I've taken this thing on dozens of trips all over the world, and spoiler alert, it still holds up. It has not ripped. It is mostly in pretty good shape, a little dirty, but it has held up really, really well. So my experience with that is kind of what's led me to say that if you're looking for the most durable golf travel bag, if you're looking for something that can take a beating and not fail trip after trip, Club Glove has been my recommendation. But this is mostly based on a product that I bought over a decade ago. So considering over the last few years, I've been reviewing more and more golf travel bags. I've got a pretty good knowledge of what's out there. I was really excited to test some of the latest Club Glove gear to see if it still lives up to that expectation, to see if the build quality is still as good as it was, to see if it's still worth the title that I've been giving it as most durable travel bag. I've got good news. Yes, like spoiler alert, yes. Let's jump into the bags that I'm talking about. We'll talk about first impressions, build quality, the differences between some of these bags, because the lineup is slightly confusing. So I want to help you understand exactly what you're getting, how it compares to other brands, and so on. So right now, let's just talk travel bags. Let's put the luggage and everything else, we'll put that aside for a second. So when it comes to the current Club Glove lineup, there are 4 different bags. You're going to have the Club Traveler. That is going to be their most basic, smallest option at $350. You then have the Pro Traveler. So that's going to be similar features, similar build quality, but a little bit bigger. So if you're someone that likes to throw in shoes and you like throwing bags and extra stuff into your golf travel bag, that extra space is going to be really nice, and that comes in $100 more at $450. Those are kind of their basic models. Then you can move up to the Tour models. There, you're getting a few extra features, but you're really getting better build quality. So I'll touch on exactly what that means in just a second. The Tour Traveler SB stands for Tour Traveler Stand Bag. So that is going to be the exact same size as the Club Traveler. So their basic $350 bag, exact same size and dimensions with the Tour Traveler. It's just going to be $200 more at $550, which is where you're going to get that better build quality. Then you have the Tour Traveler. Also $550, this is their biggest bag. So unlike the Club Traveler and the Tour Traveler SB, which are the exact same size, the Tour Traveler is actually bigger than the Pro Traveler. So the Pro Traveler, their larger, more baseline model. Tour Traveler, better build quality, but also bigger. So if you're someone who travels with a big cart bag or a staff bag or anything like that, that's who this bag is designed for. So kind of 2 baseline models, Club Traveler, Pro Traveler, $350, $450, small, bigger. Tour Traveler SB, small, much bigger, much better build quality. So for the purposes of this review, I have got a Tour Traveler SB and I've got a Pro Traveler. So I have the larger of the more baseline models, and I've got the smaller of the top end model. Okay, so let's talk about build quality and major differences between these 2 types of bags. The Tour level, which has higher build quality, and the lower level. Honestly, they're not that much different in my mind. So all of these bags have a velour padded area at the top of the bag. So where your clubs are, if you've got your driver in your bag, that whole area up top, extra padding, extra soft material, all of the bags have that. It's great. All of these bags, with the exception of the cheapest one, the Club Traveler, have the TSA lock system. So it's a combination lock system. It's actually pretty slick. I was very impressed by this. I still have this fear that I'm going to forget my combination and not be able to get into my bag, but fortunately that hasn't happened yet. So you see that on the Pro Traveler in both the Tour level models, but not the lower end Club Traveler. All the bags have shock absorbent wheels and also a plastic plate underneath the bag where the wheels are that is very robust. So this is one of the issues I've found with cheaper bags. A lot of cheaper bags don't have much support on the underside of the bag where it's constantly, getting thrown up and down. It's going up against concrete and floor and various things. And so that is often one of the areas you will find cheaper bags tear. All 4 of these bags are very robust with their base. So I really don't think you're going to run into any issues with tearing in that portion of the bag, or frankly, any portion of the bag, because all of these bags are very overbuilt. All of these bags also have one of these included. This is a stiff arm. Basically, you put it in your bag, you extend it so it holds the bag completely taut to basically protect your club, specifically your driver, so that if something falls on top of it, this is bracing for the impact so that it doesn't snap your club in half. So very nice feature. It's nice that these are included. So honestly, the differences are really pretty small between the tour level bags and the club and pro traveler. So the biggest difference is the quality of the nylons. This fabric feels more robust than most other golf travel bags I've reviewed. The Sunday Coaster, the Sun Mountain Club Glider, the fabric on the base level Club Glove feels more durable and feels more robust. So this is kind of backing up my assumption that Club Glove makes the most durable bags on the market. Now the tour level bags, they use 1680D Cordura ballistic nylon. So essentially they're using seatbelt grade nylon across the entire bag. Crazy durable, also going to be a little bit heavier, but if you are like, I need the most bulletproof golf travel bag possible and you don't want to go for a hard case, then this is going to be what you're going to want. And you can feel it. You know, it's like you look at the differences and you're like, oh, you look at the regular bag and it's like, yeah, this is like super robust. Oh, nope. They outdid themselves with this other one over here. It's actually pretty wild. And so then when you're comparing the Club Traveler to the Tour Traveler SB, really it mostly comes down to build quality. So the tour level, it's going to get that seatbelt grade nylon versus the Club Traveler, it's just going to have their regular super high-end durable nylon. With these two bags, as I mentioned, on the higher end model, you get the TSA lock system. You don't get that on the cheaper bag. And then also with the tour level models, you're getting genuine leather touch points on the handles, whereas on the less expensive models, you are getting synthetic leather. So let's talk a little bit about who should buy what, and then I'll talk about my actual experience using some of these bags. Honestly, I think for 90% of people, you're going to be fine with the Club Traveler or the Pro Traveler. I do not think you need to move up to that tour level bag. So for this last trip, it was one I was really excited about, wanted to make sure I packed thoughtfully, was going to Sensei Lanai, which is one of the coolest wellness retreats imaginable, was doing a whole bunch of golf instruction at Manele Golf Course, which is one of the most spectacular golf courses you will ever see. And so it's a little bit of a long trip, so I wanted to make sure I packed correctly and had all the right stuff. So my plan was to take the Tour Traveler SB, so the smaller, higher end bag. What I found, for me personally, is that taking the Vessel Luxe stand, so that's not even one of their bigger bags, so that's kind of their standard smaller size stand bag. In that bag, it was pretty tight. Like if all I wanted to do was put the clubs in there, it would be totally fine. You could fit it no problem. But I'm someone who likes to carry a few extra things. I like a few extra pairs of shoes. On the way back, I'd like a little bit of flexibility to kind of shove some stuff in there if I'm a little less organized than I was on the way going back out. And so I was surprised to see just how tight that bag was. So then I was like, all right, I'm not sure about this. And I moved over to the Pro Traveler. Much more space. There was plenty of space in there to put in 3-4 pairs of shoes, boxes of balls, jackets, and still space left over. The downside of that is if you are using that larger travel bag and you have a smaller stand bag and you're not filling it out, all of a sudden it doesn't feel quite as structurally sound. There's a lot of extra fabric. When you stand it up, it feels like it's kind of like hunched over, like it really feels like you need to fill it up to make this bag feel good. That being said, I really appreciated the size of this bag when on the way home. I just wanted to throw a bunch of stuff in there so I didn't have to worry too much about packing. There was plenty of space for all of that stuff and it performed wonderfully. So for me personally, and you can decide where you stand on this, I think the Pro Traveler is the sweet spot in this lineup. You do not need to spend the extra money on the tour bags. The Tour Traveler is even bigger, even more space than the Pro Traveler, and I just can't imagine ever having a bag big enough to do that. If you are a pro, or if you do travel with the big cart bag, then that might be the right fit for you. But for the average golfer who's got a standard hybrid or carry bag, I think the Pro Traveler is the sweet spot in the Club Glove range to give you some extra packing flexibility while still making sure everything is super well protected without going completely overboard in terms of build quality and size. On the other side of things, I think those smaller bags from them, the Club Traveler, the Tour Traveler SB, it's just a little small. I'm not sure that's a bag that I would want to spend $350 or $550 on, just because it gives me a little bit less flexibility. Yes, it is 1000% going to protect your clubs absolutely no problem. But I like to have a little bit of extra space to give myself some extra packing flexibility. And those bags for me were just a little bit too small. If I was going for something a little bit smaller in that price range, I'd probably go with the Sun Mountain Club Glider. Durability-wise, the Sun Mountain does not match up. It is not quite as robust and not quite as durable as these bags. So if that is the most important thing you're looking for, go with one of these. But the ease of that Club Glider system that Sun Mountain has, where with one finger, you can pull this thing around. We just went down to Mexico with our 5-year-old, and my 5-year-old was very easily pulling my golf clubs through the airport, which was wonderful to have a little 5-year-old golf club valet, and she got a kick out of it as well. So that bag, while also still a pretty tight bag, has a little bit more space. I have no problem fitting 2 pairs of shoes in there and a jacket and a sweatshirt and that type of thing. But that Club Glider system is excellent, and I do miss that. But speaking of being able to easily take things through airports, that brings us to one of the next features of these bags, and that is the greater travel system that Club Glove has called their TRS system. Now, essentially what that means is you can take one of their travel bags, any of these travel bags we've talked about will work. You can also take one of their check-in pieces of luggage as well as one of their carry-on pieces of luggage, up to 3, and you essentially can daisy train them so you can pull all of them through the airport easily without having to have each one of them separate. You watch the videos of this system and you're like, oh my God, this looks so good and all of your stuff matches and it's so fancy. But the question is, how well does it work in person? So I didn't have one of their carry-on bags. I do have one of their backpacks that I did not bring on this trip because I have a giant camera bag that I carry with me. So I only had 2 Club Glove bags. I had the Tour check-in, their very fancy suitcase piece of luggage, and the Pro Traveler bag. And so I was excited to try out this TRS system. The reality, it's not quite as seamless as you expect it to be. Every time I went to use it, I found myself kind of struggling a little bit. Like I didn't get it quite right, and that's my bad. I think that's on me more than anything else. Okay, editing Sean here. Because I haven't posted this video yet, I gotta admit, I was wrong. I am now on my 2nd trip with the Club Glove Pro Traveler, the Tour check-in, and I said the TRS system was fine, but kind of hard to use, not necessarily a game changer. I was wrong. The more I've used it and the better I've gotten at understanding exactly what clips into where and what the order, how it all works, it's actually great. I just had the longest walk I've ever had at the Portland airport to get from my car to the terminal. And I could hold my coffee, I could pull this, it was super easy. Not Sun Mountain Club Glider easy, but it freed up an extra hand since these things stack. But even better, the thing I didn't realize is the way that it has some of this give right here. It perfectly allows the bags to get on an elevator. So suitcase on the top step, golf bag, lower step. And I mean, again, it's not the most seamless system. It's not perfect, but it definitely makes things a lot easier. So I was wrong. That's actually a really cool feature and very nice to have. Talking about the suitcase itself for a second, the Tour check-in, I got this thing and it's an $800 suitcase. It is more expensive than any of the golf bags. And I looked at this, I was like, I don't know how much I'm going to use it because it's heavy. You feel this thing, it is overbuilt. You are not going to have any issues with durability with any of the Club Glove products. 100%, they are the most durable I have used, and it's not even close. So to have this suitcase that weighs probably 50 to 100% more than the suitcase I was using before, I wasn't so sure how I was going to like that. And then I've used it. I've taken it on 2 trips now, and I love this suitcase. You open it up, the way you can layer shoes on the bottom, and then there's a cover that you can put over, you snap it in, you can put all your clothes on top of that. It comes with a couple different size packing cubes, which I've never been organized enough to be a packing cube guy, but I found myself really enjoying how simple and clean it made everything when I was packing. You have a couple extra pockets along the top, and then you've got that TRS clip system that, like I said, once you figure it out, it works pretty well, but it's not the total game changer I was hoping it might be. Do you need to spend $800 on a piece of luggage? No. Most of you probably shouldn't. You can go to TJ Maxx and get a Samsonite for 80 bucks that, well, maybe not as protective and maybe not as robust, will probably do the job just fine. But will I say it's very nice having this bag? Yeah, 100%. It has been so nice to pack. It's been so nice to use. It's been so durable. There's a ton of space in there, more than I kind of expected there to be. So I will say this is going to be the suitcase 100% I'm going to use for the foreseeable future. And there's definitely a strong likelihood that I will be using that Pro Traveler a lot as well. So all that to say, does Club Glove live up to the hype? In my experience, yes. But It depends on what your priorities are. If you want to buy a golf travel bag or a piece of luggage and know that you are not going to have to buy another one for a decade or more, I think Club Glove is the way to go. If you want the ultimate in convenience, or if you're on a little bit more of a budget, I think there are some other options out there. If you want the ultimate in convenience and the easiest thing to travel with, the Sun Mountain Club Glider, like, it can't be beat. It is so nice, it's so convenient, I love it. If you want a bunch of extra space, especially if you travel with a lot of shoes and you're on a bit more of a budget, the Sunday Golf Coaster Bag I have found to be excellent. Not going to feel anywhere near as high-end or as durable as these Club Glove bags, but it's also going to come in at a fraction of the price and give you a whole lot of space so that you can travel with a lot of stuff. I've also reviewed the Ghost Golf Travel Bag, and honestly, that one's not holding up quite as well as I expected. I already have my opinions on the Ghost brand. I think they go way too overboard with the Ghost branding. It's like Ghost logo, Ghost name everywhere. And so to see that, which is a expensive bag, to see that hasn't been holding up after the last few trips quite as well as some of the others, I wouldn't necessarily go that route unless you are just absolutely in love with the brand. And while I have not reviewed them personally, if you are on a budget and if you want something that by all accounts from everything I've heard is really solid, the products from Caddy Daddy you can get on Amazon. They're under $200. Those are the ones I would look at from a budget perspective. So with Club Glove, you are paying for build quality, you are paying for durability. They also have a 5-year warranty, which is really nice to see, and they've been around for a long time. They're owned by Acushnet. So I really feel like if there is an issue, they're a company that's going to stand behind the product, and you're going to have a easier time getting things fixed or repaired or replaced for warranty with these guys, with Club Glove versus some of the other brands out there. Do you need to spend $350, $450, $500, $800 on golf travel gear? No, you don't. But if you want something that you know is going to work, that's high quality, that's extremely well respected, then you can't go wrong with any of these products if any of them fit your needs or budget. Depending on the trip I'm taking, what my needs are, where I'm traveling, how long I'm going, these Club Glove products will absolutely have a fit in my travel golf world. I'm not going to say that I'd be using the Pro Traveler on every single trip I'm going to be taking in the foreseeable future, but I would expect that probably at least half of them, if not more, I will be using that bag. And for any trip over 3 or 4 days, 100% going to be taking the tour check-in suitcase. It's awesome, despite the fact it's beefy. It's pretty heavy. But I will say on this trip to Lanai, I had it fully packed. We had a little puddle jumper flight. There was a smaller plane to get to Lanai. And so I had to basically unpack my camera bag that was 40 pounds. I had to get it down to 15 pounds. So I had to remove a bunch of stuff out of there. I had to put it in the Tour Traveler. And even when this thing was like fully maxed out, it was at 47 pounds. So I can't imagine going over the weight limit. And it held that 47 pounds really well. So take all that for what it's worth. But anyway, Club Glove, great job, very impressed. I know this was a rambly video and maybe a little confusing with the different models, but hopefully it all made sense and you can find the right one for your needs. With that, my name is Sean Ogle, the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80. We talk about cool golf products and cool golf courses. If you got some value out of this, drop a comment, give this video a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would subscribe. That is the best thing you can do. If you get some value out of this, if you enjoy talking about cool golf stuff, I think you're really gonna like the future videos that we have. So subscribing helps me grow the channel and allows me to continue doing stuff like this for you. So with that, I hope you have an excellent day. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.